and I am delighted to be speaking with Matthew Gerrard, Head of International Creative Strategy at Reddit. Hi.
Nice to be here. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to have you. So we have been unpacking the supermarketer and what that means. You know, marketing is changing, rapidly evolving. AI processes and tools are constantly at our fingertips. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today and how you are using it. So in your opinion, Matthew, what's one superpower that a supermarketer today must embody?
I think a superpower is empathy. I think community understanding who it is you're truly trying to speak to and connect with. We talk a lot about building great creative ideas informed by conversation and in service of communities at Reddit. And we believe that if you're able to create ideas and campaigns, even creative platforms that are inspired and informed from those things, the performance will improve, they'll be received extremely well, and business outcomes will start to be affected as well. So I think listening, having empathy, and building from insight, obviously, of course.
Couldn't agree more. That's at the top of my list as well. Speaking of AI, how is that changing the way you and your team are working, and how is it redefining basically our marketing processes and the supermarket today?
So for us at Reddit, I think the way AI is being implemented within our workflow is to help really shorten the distance between creative hypothesis, what we believe might work for a brand, and helping us really find and navigate towards a specific insight. So we're using AI in the form of community intelligence, and that is a tool that we have internally at Reddit that is supercharging our insights discovery. We're able to dive into the wealth of conversational data on Reddit and isolate really, really useful insights for brands to take advantage of. So really, it's acting as an accelerant for us of how we can have an idea, find an insight to validate that creative route, and then build very quickly off the back of it.
I could see where that would be extremely useful because there's just a huge community on Reddit, and so to get that sentiment and be able to scale it and understand it faster and better is crucial.
Absolutely. It's almost like we're using AI as a super Reddit librarian in a way. You know, it's 20 years worth of conversational data. It's the largest corpus of human conversation on the internet. So there's a wealth of data we've got to work through and help brands navigate. And so community intelligence mixed with AI is how we're helping brands get there quicker.
Amazing. So we all know we are more productive with our AI tools, but we have shrinking attention spans. So how does the supermarketer today grab that attention, drive the engagement, but still keep the brand identity, let's say?
It's a great question. I think for us, we advise all of our brands, all of our advertisers, as well as Reddit, to provide utility to people. It's about being useful,
being in service.
Exactly, being in service of people and their communities and their interests. And so when we find brands do that and they are knowledgeable about their passions and hobbies and curiosities that people have about the world, you know, perhaps it's around personal finance and someone wants to seek advice on the best ISA to take advantage of or the best credit card. They come to Reddit because they're vulnerable, their anonymity supercharges and empowers them to have that conversation. So in that instance, a brand can just get involved and be very real and very honest about what providers to go with, what products to opt for, etc. So provide utility, be very real, be human at the end of the day. Humans are seeking human answers, and Reddit is the perfect place to do just that.
Yeah, amazing. And lastly, if there's one thing that could future-proof your marketing team for the next 3 years, what would it be and why is it essential?
That's a great question. It's great advertising and great branding is fundamentally about people. And I believe that as humans, building for humans, not necessarily building for the feed, not necessarily building directly for LLMs, but building for people will give them something to talk about. And so I advise brands and even my teams essentially is to remain and retain that curiosity of what makes us human, provide answers, seek out answers, answer questions, you know, things like that. And have your brand act in service of those questions and those creative pursuits that people in the real world have. So be human, be curious, build like an ad you'd want to see as a person, as a consumer.
That's always the best part, right? Would I like this? Does this attract my attention?
Right.
Is this something cool? Or it might just not do what I care.
That's
like the perfect thing. Sometimes we forget that, we've looked at it a million times, we've developed it, and then it's like, is this something that I would like?
Totally. I think it's always a funny question when it comes up in conversation around B2B and B2C. Ultimately, it's a person at the end of that conversation. And so speak to their interests, understand what is really going to stop them scrolling, or how can you provide utility to the point that someone wants to spend time with you, wants to read what it is you have to say. Attention spans are diminishing somewhat, especially when the rest of the industry is, it's okay. And, she was just listening intently. Creating long-form editorial, hoping people spend time with your brand will only happen if you're going to provide that value back to them as well. So that's what we advise all of our advertisers to do. And Reddit, people come to seek answers to the questions they have, and you might be the answer to the question they have.
Well, thank you, Matthew, so much for your incredible insight, and
Thanks
have
for the
a great
questions.
DMEXCO.
Thanks so much.